guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, you kind of asked for it, ladies. Overwhelmingly, politics is getting infused with entertainment. Entertainment is bleeding over onto TikTok and politics, and everything is just this big soup of angry people. And that's one of the reasons why I say, for peace of mind, you must turn off the internet box and you must go touch grass and you must ignore the crazies. But unfortunately, these crazies also make policies that affect us, the people that just want to be left the F alone. Well, in this case, women overwhelmingly, 65% roughly of single women vote for leftism, for the woke, for all the things that make them feel good, and we don't want to be harmful, and we don't want to upset people, and we just want to do the nice things. Then when you get into the cities where most of these laws are actually going into effect, now you're talking about probably 70, 80, 90% of women voting for this stuff. Well, in New York City, women are posting a bunch of TikToks about getting punched in the face. And if I've learned anything, it's that women will, A, complain about what they've actually voted for and decided on. They say, I want this, and then they get it, and then they're very upset. And number two, when something goes viral, people are going to glam onto it. Again, mostly women are going to glam onto it, even if it's not true. So a woman went viral because she got punched in the face. She had a big, mouse. And if you don't know what a mouse is, it's a boxing term, which is it breaks a blood vessel under the skin and it pushes and swells the skin out. She had a mouse on her forehead, the size of a golf ball. So hers was legit. And then after that, all of a sudden, all these other women are saying they got punched in the head in New York City. One woman was walking, she had a kind of a bruise coming down her cheek here. I've been punched in the face. You know when you don't bruise? Right after it happens. Your face might turn red. It might swell up a little bit. It might be tender. Then 2, 3 days later, that's when the bruise shows up. And then a week or two later after that, it's kind of that yellowish green color. Most guys know this because we're very good at getting bruises. Well, this is, I wasn't going to do a story on this initially, but it is a perfect example of women getting what they vote for or what they ask for. And then when it happens to them and it directly influences them, they're very upset, even though they know this is a problem for other people. This is kind of the growing trend I see that's happening with women. They say, ooh, this happens to women, but it won't happen to me because, it's happening to older women. It won't happen to me because I'm young and beautiful. Smash cut to 10 years later. Oh, it's happening to me. The patriarchy. This is awful. Men are horrible. Crime. Oh, yes, those people are affected, and that's awful. But we should not have bail, no cash bail, and we should try to give them therapy. And then when they get punched in the head, as Mike Tyson says, we all have a game plan until someone gets punched in the head. He says, this is from Tim Pool. And I know a lot of people are like, who cares about Tim Pool? But he's a huge newscaster on YouTube. All his channels get hundreds, if not, millions of views. I think at one point he said all his videos across a month get 100 million views. I get 2.5 million views. So needless to say, his voice gets out there. And on Twitter, he has 2 million followers. So and a lot of them are politicians, a lot of them are celebrities, a lot of them are in the zeitgeist that we're talking about today. That's why I think what he says is relevant. So he posted this yesterday. He said, I think it's funny that women in New York City are getting punched in the face. And on his podcast last night, he said, it is funny. This is what they asked for. They want these laws. They want these rules. And then when the criminals are let free or something bad happens to them, they say, this is horrible. I didn't vote for this. It's just like the Anna Kasparian video where she said, what are we doing? Well, this is what you wanted. So Tim posts that. It goes viral. People are making fun of him for it, but I'm in agreement with him. You know, when women say, I want women to be, or the LGBTQAAIT++, I want them to be able to participate. If they identify as women, they can be in women's sports. And then the women are like, oh my God, no women are winning anything. You wanted it. I'm fine with all this stuff in the classrooms and teach this stuff in the classroom. All of a sudden, my kid is all messed up. You wanted it. I'll read some of the replies, then we'll jump into the story. From Wall Street Silver, very simple, 3.1 thousand, 3,100 likes. They voted for it. And you'll see women coming in here, and like Ashley St. Clair is a great example of that. Some of us didn't vote for this and have no choice but to live in New York City. Okay, you may not have voted for it, but you're voting to live in New York City. And when you say, I don't have a choice, why? Oh, my job's there. Find another job. My kids go to school there. Move your kids out. You know, people act like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this, when in the meantime, she could move from New York City, probably work remote because she does mostly media and video stuff. You could move remote, kind of like me. I'm out here on 25 acres in the middle of nowhere, running solar and with cellular and satellite internet. You can make a choice, but they won't because it's difficult. So deal with it. You wanted this by living in New York City. Jeremy over at The Quartering, big fan. Love to do a show with him someday, or at least talk to him. He says, what is a woman even? 2,200 likes. And Mindy Robinson, she's also got 350,000 followers. She's an independent journalist, anti-government libertarian. She says, why do people keep saying they voted for this? Does it look like anyone is voting for anything? If these corrupt politicians are acting like they don't need our votes to pass BS, it's because they don't. Oh, no. Oh, no, you did vote for it. People do vote for this. And I'm going to pull that up, and we'll talk about it. So, from MSNBC, women in New York City are posting TikToks about getting punched in the face on the street. Kendall Lieberman was walking to lunch with her coworker down 7th Avenue in New York City on Tuesday when a man rammed his elbow into the side of her head near Times Square. And that's the woman that had the mouse on her forehead. I was just in full shock, and I'm sure if I was alone, I probably would have reacted differently. But in the moment, I just immediately held my head where he hit me, and my mind immediately went to all the other girls that I've seen all my TikTok getting hit. So the first reaction she has to getting hit in the head is, oh my gosh, all the other women on TikTok are having this happen too. Not flee for your safety, not find a police officer, not wonder why you got punched in the head, which likely was for no reason. Her first thought was, wow, I've seen a lot of this on TikTok. Sounds a little weird to me. After the event, the 24-year-old posted her own video about the incident on TikTok, adding to the chorus of several young women who have taken to the social media platform to share similar tales in recent days. So instead of going for the police, instead of trying to identify the man, instead of asking somebody for help, instead of maybe catching him on camera or something like that, the first thing she decided to do is jump on TikTok and talk about it, like all the other women did as well. Does that mean it didn't happen to her? No. It means the first thing she thought about was going viral with her own story to make sure. Now, she could say, I'm warning other women. There's millions and millions and millions of people in New York. The odds of even accidentally bumping into this guy are pretty slim. I think she probably wanted to jump in on the viral trend of getting some fame, her 15 minutes of fame, and getting the likes and the clicks, and more people check out her other information and then probably join her OnlyFools accounts. No, that's just a guess. But either way, the first reaction wasn't to try to find a cop or change the situation. It was, well, I got to go viral with this. Now, here's the important couple of words. The trend. They say the trend started after a video of Hallie Kate, a New York City-based TikToker who was rammed in the face on Monday, went viral online. There you go. There you go. This trend, all of a sudden, you have one woman, and that's the Hallie Kate. That's the girl that got the mouse on her forehead. That's the first one that And all of a sudden after that, everybody's talking about being in New York City and getting punched in the face. Wow, what are the odds? You know what it is? I'm sure the criminals are lurking on TikTok and they're like, wow, this is a trend. I want to get in on this. Or could it be that women are maybe not being so accurate? Just a guess. And if they are being accurate, okay, this is kind of the stuff that you wanted. You wanted no cash bail. You wanted criminals out on the streets. You wanted people that have bad pasts to go to therapy instead of actually being arrested and held behind bars. This is kind of what you wanted. They say now at least 12 women have shared videos about getting randomly punched on the street in New York. It's unclear whether the reports are part of a broader coordinated attack on women, because that's what they're going to run with, or how many people have been perpetrating the attacks. Most women had a man initiated the attack, although others said a woman had. How is it that all of a sudden all these people are coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, I got punched in the head too? Do you see where I'm saying, we know how trends on social media goes. And if people can jump in on a trend, they're going to. And the problem with something else like this is when it's men are punching people in the head, that makes women get a feeling of men bad, even though it's not men bad, it's bad men bad. All of a sudden now you got women saying, oh, men are bad. And what if some of them are making it up just to get on the trend? That means it's going to make it sound like it's a much bigger problem than it actually is. In response to a list of questions about the TikTok video, whether the New York City Police Department is investigating the attacks and the crime rates in New York City, the NYPD told Times on Wednesday it had a report on file and had arrested and charged a 40-year-old Skiboki Stora. Well, that sounds like a man right here from the heartlands of America. Late Wednesday night, the NYPD posted on X that detectives were aware of a viral video circulating online of a woman who was randomly hit and were able to identify Stora after he previously arrested for similar attacks. There's my point. He was previously arrested for similar attacks, and yet he's on the street. And notice they say words are important. Words are important, and this is why I always say slow down when you're reading something. After he was previously arrested for similar attacks, plural. So he hadn't done this once before. He's at least done it twice before, because that's multiple, which means this is either the third plus time he's whacked someone in the head. But they want these guys out on the street. They just tell them, oh, go get therapy. Let's see what the news has to say about it.
Multiple women in New York City taking to social media claiming they've been randomly punched on the street.
Yeah, the videos are surprising and they've sparked nationwide outrage. Fox Eye's Michelle Ross takes a closer look at what's been happening.
Spoiler alert, it's not nationwide outrage. Yes, people are talking about this, and yes, they're like, why isn't something happening? But it's not nationwide outrage at the dude that punched him in the head. That part, believe it or not, is not the crazy part. It's national outrage at that. Why is this being allowed to happen in New York City? But they voted for it. They keep wanting this stuff, the no cash bail. They want people out on the streets. They want them to get therapy and not have cops, be too rough on them when they arrest them. And if you don't believe me, go look at all the protests that women have been involved in.
You guys, I was literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face.
Let me pull that back just a couple seconds. I know it's hard because when it's paused, but right here on her forehead is this massive mouse on her forehead. I believe she definitely got socked by this guy.
Came up and punched me in the face. So I just got...
This is the one that I have doubts. Right here, she's got a little purple line. Now, maybe she did, and maybe I'm wrong, but when you're struck, it doesn't, I've been hit. I've banged my head into stuff. I've whacked my leg on something. It takes a long time for a bruise to appear, but she's got a little purple streak on her cheek here. I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just saying there are some things that aren't making sense to me about this situation.
So I just got punched in the face walking home.
Women are taking to TikTok sharing similar stories of them getting punched in the face in unprovoked attacks on the streets of New York City.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I can't even talk.
Influencer Hallie Kate developed a bump on her forehead after she says a man walking a dog punched her on Monday in Chelsea.
I fall straight to the ground and I'm just in like absolute disbelief.
Literally, as soon as they came, they were like, do you want to get in the back of the car and go try to find this guy? They like threw on their sirens. We ran around all of Soho.
In a now deleted comment on one of the TikTok videos, former Real Housewives of New York City star Bethany Frankel commented with a similar experience, writing, "This happened to me a few months ago, but I was embarrassed to say. I was taking a video of a bakery." And in almost all of the TikTok videos, the women say that they were on their phones not paying attention. So they are telling women everywhere to be more aware of their surroundings. In Chelsea.
That's a little surprise to me that women are on their phones not paying attention. As a dude, I do know one thing. I'm pretty hyper aware of what's going on around me. Now, it doesn't mean I don't use my phone in public. It doesn't mean, but if you are walking or something's going on and you're not sure, you got to kind of keep your head on a swivel, especially in bigger cities where crime rate's going up, whatever. I'd be really interested to see if this is the guy that actually did it. I'd be interested to see. It does surprise me a little bit. But, who knows? We'll find out more. Kate said Stora was her attacker in a TikTok video Wednesday evening. Stora previously ran for the District 9 seat on the New York City Council and started a GoFundMe to run for mayor in 2025. An attorney representing Stora declined to comment. Lieberman also said she's filed a police report about her attack. There are certain patterns that have emerged from an initial series of TikTok videos. Some women have shared their similar details about being on the phone when these things happen. At least 2 users said they were attacked near Times Square, although those attacks happen on different days. And Lieberman says her attacker did not look like the one she saw in a video captured by a separate user. Others say the attacks were in the neighborhoods including NoHo, the East Village, and Brooklyn. All the women say they were punched or the perpetrator attempted to punch them on the street in broad daylight. Not all the attacks happened this week, but many women have been emboldened to share their previous attacks. Why? Because it's a trend. If I get on a video and I say, guys, you'll never believe this, 3 years ago, just like what was in the news, oh, this happened 3 years ago, that happened to me. Okay. I guess it's one thing to share, but what good does that do? Like, oh, that happened several years ago. Well, there's no chance of catching the guy. There's no chance of stopping it. There's no chance of protecting other women from this happening because you didn't tell anybody. You didn't grab a cop and go look for it. So what's the point of telling anybody? To get in on, oh, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me. Yeah, we know how that goes. Woman says, I was just walking down the street today at like 5, so midday. The woman walks past me out of nowhere, feels someone do blah, blah, blah. They say, despite online chatter about increasing crime in the city, Christopher Herman, a professor at CUNY, John Jay College of Criminal Justice, who was a former crime analyst supervisor with the New York Police Department, says that notion is not quite true. If you're looking at the numbers, overall total crime is down a little over 2% this year. Robberies down 80% since the 90s, and assault and attacks are down 26% since the 90s. But here's part of why. Many of the laws that they used to say were crimes, they don't count as crimes anymore. Or the police will not respond to them. So if somebody calls 911 and says, I just got whatever happened to me, and they never send a cop out or they don't get anything on record, then it doesn't go down as something actually happened. So if you have a shortage of cops, which we know is happening in these cities, and people are calling, asking for help, and they don't get the help, and this is a problem that's happened in L.A. I remember listening to a couple of people talking in L.A. where the cops just don't show up for things anymore. Well, if somebody robs something and you call them and you say, my laptop was stolen, and they're like, what do you want us to do about it? Well, can you come down and take a report? And, well, you can come to the station and fill out some paperwork, but unless you have the serial number and that information and somebody happens to pop up with your laptop, there's nothing we can do about it. They hang up the phone, and that does not go down as a crime because there's no actual filing of any paperwork. And if things were so much safer, why did New York Governor Kathy Hochul announce her plan to deploy 1,000 personnel, including 750 National Guard troops, to protect New Yorkers on the subway? Another 800 officers were deployed after somebody popped somebody on the subway. Do you know what happened when those 7,500 National Guard troops were in the subways checking people's bags and things? Somebody got popped on the subway. So they didn't check everybody's bags. Criminals walk around with everything right in plain sight. They don't, hide it in their pockets or anything. So I don't know how this could have happened. So they go in about the statistics. But the truth is, and this is from the New York Post, New York lefties take aim at crimes causes without realizing they're the problem. And they go through a couple of stories here. But in recent Citizens Budget Commission polls, barely a third of New Yorkers report happiness with their neighborhood's safety. Less than half feel even somewhat secure riding the subway during the day, down from over 80% across recent decades. At night, that figure drops to 22%. So if that number was 80% for previous decades, and now it drops down into the 20s, you're going to tell me crime's not really happening. Or are people noticing the crime and nothing gets done about it? And so they take things into their own account, which is just trying to protect themselves. They say the nightmare of such harm and Officer Diller's ending. Oh, this is about, there was a cop that did a traffic stop, and he got popped in the belly below his armor, and he ended up like unaliving. He's not with us anymore. And this was a very big deal. And people are starting to know this stuff. But this is what they voted for. The guy that did this is, I guess his name was, let me see if I can find his name here. Let me find, I guess I'll have to start up here. Despite overwhelming evidence that police prosecution and incarcerations are how cities keep safe, New York's clueless progressive leaders continue to demand laws barring these tools, advocating instead for magically curing crime's root causes. This hubristic approach was epitomized last week in last week's city council hearings by New York City public advocate and gubernatorial hopeful Jumaine Williams. After helpfully invoking peace and blessings, Williams insisted that crime is just a misperception and that since New York State enacted bail reform in 2019, recidivism rates are pretty similar and some points have even gone down. So they're saying letting criminals out of the prisons, that's fine. No problems, nothing to see here. Everything's fine. All you people that think things have gotten much worse you're just crazy. They say wrong on recidivism. Not true, as New York NYPD's crime control strategies chief Michael Lepetri corrected. That's not accurate. Recidivism is at its highest level since 2017. Officer Diller's the man that I have to watch some of these words, and I'm trying to do this so I can put some of this on YouTube. The guy that ended Officer Diller. Could himself have refuted Williams' outrageous claim. He had 21 prior arrests, 9 for felonies. In 2021, he was released on parole after a half-decade in prison for selling narcotics. Earlier, he served 3 years for assault. When Diller approached him, Rivera had already a shiv stuffed up his rectum in anticipation of cycling back to the slammer. He already had a knife waiting up the poop chute so that when he got sent back to prison, he had a blade ready. But let's keep letting him out of jail. The record of Rivera's associate Lindsey Jones, 41, who was in the driver's seat, also attests to the recidivism being an accurate perception. Jones had at least 14 arrests, including for robbery, bodily harm against others, and spent a decade in prison for attempted ending somebody else and robbery, getting out in 2013. So they keep saying, let him out, let him out, let him out, let him out. This is a video of the very, very diverse people in charge of, I think it's St. Louis. Now, if you'll notice, there's not too many light-skinned Asians, Latinos. Looks like a whole bunch of black people, which is fine. But this is not diversity. See, diversity means a bunch of different diverse things, not anything but white. That's not what that means. But this group of counselors, very left, obviously, have decided that if there's a lot of crime around gas stations, because people usually lurk at gas stations, the cashier is very close to the front doors. You can go in very quickly, get smokes, get something cold to drink, get some beer, whatever. And most of the time they're at busy intersections, so they oftentimes become a hangout for people. I know this. How do I know? Because back when I used to live, we used to hang out at a place called what's the name of it? Was it Felucci's? I think it was. Is it Felucci's? Fauci? No, that's not Fauci. What was that? I don't remember. It was an Italian name. Anyway, it was arcade/gas station. We all hung out there because it was close to everything. It was on a main corner, and that's where we hung out as kids. Well, what happens if there's a lot of crime at the gas stations? I'm gonna. This is 37 seconds. I want you to hear what these type of politicians that these women and people on the left are voting for, to give you an idea of how their misconceptions are so screwed up.
Leaders from Jackson, Mississippi, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Durham, St. Louis, and more meeting Wednesday and Thursday to talk crime and solutions. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones says she's taking back strategies used in Atlanta for nightclub owners and eyeing ways to reduce crimes around convenience stores.
We have a lot of violence around convenience stores and gas stations, so how can we hold those business owners accountable and also bring down crime? And then some of the things that we're already doing, we're finding that other mayors are doing as well.
Discussions with the Council on Criminal Justice and chats between leaders were closed to the public and media.
So closed to the public, closed to media. You've got a bunch of governors or mayors from different cities, all progressive, all left. They're all meeting to figure out how are we going to lower crime. And what is the thing she says? It's not keeping them behind bars. It's not getting rid of bail reform. It's not protecting the citizenry. It's how I want you to hear this again, because she really said this. How do we hold gas station owners responsible? Let's say you're a gas station owner. Let's just say you're a gas station owner, and the crime's kind of bad in the area. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to put bars on the windows. I'm going to have bulletproof glass around me. So if people come in and buy stuff, I'll keep a lot of it behind the counter. At night, in some of these bad neighborhoods, I don't know if some of you foreigners may not know this, the store is shut. Like, you can't go inside the store. So you go up to a little bulletproof glass thing with a speaker on it, and you say, yeah, can I get a bag of Cheetos and a 20-ounce Diet Mountain Dew or whatever. They'll grab it for you, but you have to put the money through this little like U-shaped slot, and you can't even. That's so you can't stick a weapon through there or anything like that. So you have to slide your money underneath this slot, and then like when you go to banks, they'll put it in this little like metal tray, and then they slide it out to you, and then it opens up and you can get your stuff. That's how bad it is in some areas. That's so the workers are safe. So when you say we're going to hold the gas station owners accountable, how? What are they supposed to do about the criminals? What are they supposed to do about the loitering? He's going to go out and say, you guys can't loiter here. Oh, yeah, call the cops, do something about it. Hello, 911. Yeah, there's people hanging outside my business. I don't want them here. Sorry, that's not really a crime anymore, or officers are involved doing other things. We don't have time for this. Okay, thank you. What's an owner supposed to do? Go out there and fight 30 people hanging outside your gas station? But it's very important for she and these other mayors of these cities to hold these businesses accountable. Now, let's say that she goes after a gas station owner or a convenience store owner, and she says, we're holding you responsible for doing this. They go out of business, and now you don't have that business there anymore. Does that sound familiar? It's happened to grocery stores. It's happened to Walmarts. It's happening to Target. And the businesses are like, you're letting everybody steal from us. We're losing tens of millions of dollars a year from you guys just stealing stuff, so we're leaving. We're not doing the giveaway thing. This is a business. So the gas stations, this will close. All of it will close.
station. So how can we hold those business owners accountable and also bring down crime? And then some of the things that we're already doing, we're finding that other mayors are doing as well.
The other mayors are doing it as well. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. That's all I can say on this stuff. You know, I really do not necessarily want to make politics part of my channel here. I want to talk about men's issues. But in many ways, this is a man's issue because men are voting one way and women overwhelmingly are voting another way. And then when everything turns to crap, women will blame these criminal guys, saying men are bad. But when men like us are saying, please, like, look at these policies, they don't work, vote a different way. Orange man bad, and conservatives and patriarchy and women and female empowerment. Okay, good luck to you. That's all I'm saying. But these laws also harm men. They harm society. They harm family, the family unit. They harm businesses. All that does have to do with men in our society and how our country moves forward. I think this is one of the biggest things affecting men right now. It's not the dating market. It's this crap. And what if one or two gals or three of these gals, or what if 12 of these women and all 12 of them are being honest and they're saying, you know something, I really did get punched in the head. And they did. And they're not just following a trend on TikTok. Problem is, it does become a trend. The problem is it becomes a viral story. It's another weapon that women will use to say men bad, all men bad, because they have a bad dating experience with, the top 10% of men. And they have a bad experience with the bottom 20% of men, like these criminals. And then they keep getting let out on the streets over and over and over again. And before you know it, that's all men bad. And that's where we are. And that's why this stuff, I think, affects people more than you realize. This affects society and men's happiness and the way we live our lives way more than how bad it is to jump on Tinder and try to get a date. This is the stuff that's making most men miserable. It's not the fact that you can't get some hottie to answer you on a dating app. It's the fact that society's falling apart. And women are the ones voting for the vast majority of these policies that just do not work. And if you don't believe me, go listen to Joe Rogan. Go listen to Russell Brand. Go listen to Jimmy Dore. Go listen to some of these bigger podcasts that are left-leaning. They will tell you right out. Some of them hate Trump. Some of them say, I wouldn't vote for Trump even if he's the only option. I don't like conservatives are bad at this stuff. I agree with them on quite a bit of that stuff. But then you also hear them say, and they say, the women are losing their minds. These policies are crazy. These cities have gone crazy. Our country's going crazy. Why? Because the crazy left, they're the ones that are in charge right now. They're the ones that single women overwhelmingly vote for, and they're the ones that are driving us into the dirt. And the only way I can see out of this is women keep screwing up and they keep having bad things happen to them until they change their minds. Or they say, I'm not changing my mind. I'm dead set on this. And men say, I got to leave. Like, I'm not going to live in New York anymore. I can't be part of this. That's the only way this changes. Until then, things are just going to keep getting worse. Guys, if you like my work and appreciate what I do, please go over to Rumble. Go over to Rumble or go over to Locals. I prefer Locals. Become a supporter over there. It's $5 a month. You can help me, pay my bills without being on YouTube. And I'll leave it with this. The feds are asking for identities of YouTube video viewers. There's a couple of videos that went viral, and I think it was about on crypto stuff and some other things. And the federal government went to YouTube and Google to get your information. Now, if that doesn't, and that's just not people posting videos, that's people watching videos. So if you accidentally click on the wrong video and you watch the wrong content, and again, my channel does not fall into that, or at least not yet, Google and YouTube are helpful to help out the feds. That's why you need to go to Rumble. That's why you need to go to Locals, a gated kind of my segment of the web, where a lot of the content you can only see if you're a member or a subscriber, I should say, for $5 a month, because I want to protect myself against trolls that want to sniff out and try to find anybody they can find and get them in trouble. That's why I have Locals. This is 2 minutes. I want to play part of this for you guys.
Ordered Google to hand over the names, addresses, telephone numbers, and user activity of those who watch certain YouTube videos. The feds were trying to track down a criminal and were apparently tracking you in the process. The senior national correspondent, Kevin Cork, is live in D.C. with the big news about Big Brother. Kevin, good evening.
They say they were looking for a criminal. And that's, I mean, how many, let's say it was only a quote unquote small channel with 10,000 views, 20,000 views on that. And there were multiple videos. What's that, 60, 80,000 people's data they can comb through and start sniffing around on to find one criminal? I don't know about you. That doesn't sound very ethical.
Evening, Trace. According to Forbes, the government asking Google to give up names, addresses, phone numbers, and user activity of all account users who accessed certain YouTube videos back in January of 2023, as you mentioned, as part of a larger criminal investigation. Now, in another instance, police also asked Google to provide a list of accounts that viewed and or interacted with YouTube live streams. That could lead to information, again, on what they claim was a police search.
One police search, one criminal, one bad instance, and they want to find live streams and viewers of certain content. Now, me talking about dating and how things are screwed up, that's not going to be on their radar. I'm not worried about my channel, certainly. What about the political channels? That might be problematic. If you're a hyper-partisan politician or somebody that likes to talk about how much you're a big, Trump fan or conservative, this government will probably come after you. If you're on a channel talking about, whether it's crypto or investing or things like that, and they think somebody did some wrongdoing and maybe fiddled with some money they shouldn't have, they're going to sniff around on all those people. Google and YouTube have now I know Rumble will fight that tooth and nail because it's happened before. I think Rumble and there was another channel. I think it was maybe Twitter under Elon Musk. They were asked for certain stuff, and they flat out said not without a court order. And then when they got the court order, they fought it in court. These are the battle lines of this current war, I guess you'd call it. It's not a line in the sand like the North versus the South. It's not a conflict of, USA versus Iraq or whatever. This is a conflict of left versus right, free versus authoritarian, your freedoms versus none. This is surprising. And to the number of people, look, I'm on YouTube. I still watch stuff on YouTube, especially when that content creator is not over on Rumble. But I'm on Rumble a lot more. I now individually upload things over to Rumble. I try to remember more. But every video I've been putting out for the last 3-4 videos have been going on Rumble, because at one point they were automatically uploaded from YouTube, and that stopped like 3 months ago, and I didn't realize it. Well, now my content in order gets uploaded to Locals first, gets uploaded to Rumble second, gets uploaded to Twitter most of the time third, and then YouTube is last. YouTube, even though it's my most viewers, is really my last choice. And because I want you guys to see the content, but I'm really trying to dangle the carrot on the stick in front of the donkey. I'm trying to dangle the carrot to get you guys to start making some moves. I make nothing on Rumble, but at a certain point in time, you have to say, I may make a lot less money by moving more of my content to Rumble and Locals than I was on YouTube, but I don't want to really be on YouTube. But you guys are here, so I want to get the information that I have to the most sets of eyes, and that'll hurt me in the wallet. What are you going to do? At a certain point, you have to try to have some principle, even if it does hurt you monetarily.
Privacy experts tell Fox Business tonight this discovery is absolutely terrifying, saying it allows the police to target people for simply consuming content. Quote, "It's unconstitutional, it's terrifying, and it's happening every day. These YouTube warrants are just as chilling, allowing police to target people simply for the content they consume. No one should fear and knock at the door from police simply because of what YouTube's algorithm serves up."
I'll leave it at this. I don't think I have it, but I did see it on Twitter today. There's 2 videos of the FBI knocking on somebody's door to talk to them about posts they made on social media. It wasn't asking for the ending of the president. It wasn't saying anything for harm. But the FBI are going around, at least for Facebook posts. And if you have something posted, they're coming to ask you questions. Now, the people said, I'm not answering any questions, and you can stuff right off until I have an attorney or you have a warrant because I have my freedom of speech. And the FBI, they were relatively kind, and it's all right, well, we just wanted to make sure everything's, that's where we're at right now. That is the conflict we're in. Some choices going to need to be made. And everybody that cheers for this stuff is because it's their own side. The team that I'm rooting for, the team that I like, they're using this to go against my enemies. Yay. But someday they're going to use it against you. And when that happens, you can say, wait, I didn't want this. Oh, no. Yes, you did. You voted for it, or you voted for these politicians, or you asked for this to happen, or you voted for the district attorneys, or you didn't vote for them and enough people did to get them in office, that let these criminals out, that let all this stuff happen. You whether you voted for it or you didn't vote at all, you voted for it. You're going to get what you get. And then when everybody complains about things, you have to ask, did you vote the right way? Did you choose the right way? Did you spend your money the right way? Did you punish companies that don't have the same values that you do? Did you do something about it? If I don't know, there's a campaign by Coke that tells their workers to be less white, and you still go out and buy Coke products, you're part of the problem. That you just decided where you are in the battle. And this is an instance where sitting out of it and doing nothing, you can't be an innocent bystander in this stuff, because otherwise it will come down crashing on your head. That's all I got to say about that one. Guys, again, don't always touch about politics, but I'm getting tired of this stuff because it is affecting so many people. And they're miserable and unhappy, and you get what you asked for. The problem is, though, it bleeds over to a lot of people that didn't ask for this and didn't vote for this, and what are you going to do? Again, if you like my work, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com or Rumbles over on Rumble, and YouTube. You can stuff it.